Claudio, thank you so much for joining me today. Congratulations on Turbulence.
Thank you for having
Um,
me.
Let me tell you, I was so invested in this film,
Oh, really?
and the way that you guys made Zach just like borderline, I think I kind of like him now. And then a second later, nah, screw this guy. And then just we just keep doing that. It irritated me so much. And I was like, they did such a great job with this guy because I'm just annoyed one just like just
Yes,
push him off.
push him off.
For a little bit of context for our audience, tell us a little bit about Turbulence.
Yeah, so well, thank you very much. This is really a kind thing that you say because I think it was all credit to Jeremy Irvine, who's a phenomenal actor and was so committed to this movie, who just embraced this character. And I think it's a tough thing to do because yes, there's many things to not like about Zach, and yet he is the guy who's supposed to interest us and it would be our rooting interest at the beginning of the movie. It's his story, until it may be a different person's story without spoiling anything. But yeah, that was a really fine line to walk because how do you make a somebody who's really kind of a jerk, interesting and likable? Because I think likability is not just to be found within people who do the right thing, but it is within people who you understand or you want to follow. So he was great at doing that, and I think that's the whole what you picked up on was certainly a big challenge and also the biggest allure and appeal for me as a director to take on this project with because it's all about you have four people in a basket. This is a 10 by 10 space. It's very small. It's a small box that you can't leave. I have nothing to cut away to. I stay with them. I'm committed to staying with them. And how do you keep it interesting for 70 minutes? So you need to have characters that are layered, that have, surprises in stock for you, and that you're interested in.
It's a really tough task because there's a lot of context that we need to fill in during that time.
Mhm.
And because you're in this confined space up high in an air balloon, um, you're gonna have to be a good storyteller, or you're gonna have to prompt certain things that are gonna bring up different topics. And I thought they were really, really cleverly done. And at sometimes, and what I love about films like this is that it feels like a play, that it
Yes.
feels like I'm watching somebody on stage because the challenge here is your actors have to be interesting enough that you're like you said, you're committed to staying on them. So why do I want to keep looking at, this same space and these same faces for this amount of time? Can you talk a little bit about, your process a little bit?
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, you're hitting the nail on the head. It is a play, and for a play to be interesting, you need to have the best actors. And I thought I was incredibly blessed with those four. I mean, what they brought to the table and how they were able to elevate it beyond the page was just stunning. And then particularly also how they allowed me in as a director into their process, into their character building. I would have conversations with the characters, not with the actors, with the characters, and they would let me in. I was able to hear what they were thinking at any given moment, and that told me where to put the camera and how to tell the story and how to switch perspective from one moment to the next. And that was just absolutely inspiring. And of course, then you have the challenge, but also the gift of film that allows you to take this little stage that is 10 by 10 and send it through a huge journey that is very vast and epic and also mirrors in an allegorical way what's going on between the characters. So if they have to weather a storm within their relationship, but there is a storm that they have to weather, you know what I mean? It kind of goes along with it. Coordinating that was not always easy. That was certainly a challenge and it required an immense amount of imagination on behalf of the actors as well as us behind the camera because you're shooting in a blue box and you're like, well, so what's happening here and how do I react to it and what's the intensity of what's going on? It was difficult to quantify. But yeah, no, it was all about creating a stage play that would work and be interesting on a stage without any of the surrounding even. And hopefully, I mean, we tried our best to achieve that.
I think you guys did a great job. What was it like for you to kind of put those two things together, kind of in editing, where you're connecting this great performance, and then also adding that amazing kind of ambiance element of the fact that that because every now and then I would almost forget that they were on a hot air balloon because I was so invested in
Yep.
the drama that was happening, and then also Nope, I can't talk about that because that would be
No
giving way too
spoilers.
much.
Yeah,
There's an element where I'm like looking like, is it is
I think I know what
I
you're
think you know
gonna
what I
say.
mean.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's an extra element of
Is that really where they're going? No, hopefully not. Or they are
yeah.
they? And then in a way we go there, but we don't at the end, you know. But anyways, no, I know. So what we did do is and this was one of the coolest thing in this whole process. A month before we went to principal photography with the actors in London, we took a helicopter and flew over the Dolomites with a huge, very complicated camera rig, you know, filming all the backgrounds in super high fidelity and with these wide lenses, so that we had a 360-degree view of their path that they fly in the Dolomites. So just different. So I got to see those Dolomites up close in person, but almost too close to for my own liking because it was very, you know, we were up out there and high up, but they were just stunning, absolutely stunning. So that gave me like a backpack of experience that I was able to share with the actors on stage in London, saying, look, this is the range that we're going over. Was able to show them on the iPad or even big stitch, you know, footage of where they're flying and what the weather is and how the clouds look and so on and so forth. So they were able to kind of factor that into their experience and hopefully kind of bring it together. But it was a big challenge. And then post production was like, oh my god, that was another another mountain to climb.
Yeah, and then also you have Kelsey Grammer as really their guide, and that's all I'll say about it.
Yes.
But any does it help to have him on set and really, you know,
Yeah.
vibing with these actors?
Look, I mean, he's such an old hand in the sense that we realized I would shoot a close up of his one take, and I go like, "Holy crap! Why is it all there immediately?" You know what I mean? This guy, he really knows what he's doing. And then when you take his footage into the cutting room, you're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, this is Kelsey Grammer for many good reasons. He really knows how to just knock it out of the park in no time." And that was something that certainly, this is also credit to the other three actors. I mean, they're such experienced actors. We had a shocking 22 days to shoot the entire movie, which
Right.
is
Wow.
nothing. I mean, I tell you, sometimes we would shoot 10 pages a day, and I go like, how is this going to be good? I mean, this is you often feel like as a director, everything is stacked against you. But then if you have these collaborators, these four fantastic collaborators in the basket, and they're just able to crank through it and emote and bring you everything, and you know, just at point landing, they're really, really good.
And just want to talk a little bit about Hera Hilmer, who plays Emmy.
Yes,
She goes through a lot,
yes.
and I'm satisfied with how everything
Oh, good.
resolves. I'm trying to
I know.
not
Yeah, there's at some point it's okay
because
to spoil a little
because
bit. Yeah,
it's a really good journey. I think
yeah,
that, you know, a credit of course goes to your writer Andy
yeah.
Mason
Andy.
and just all the pacing, the work that you do, but it's not stereotypical. You take us on you know, curves here and there, but it's partially also for her performance.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about her, really.
So, you know, it was interesting. We had the three actors, Jeremy, Olga, and Kelsey, were on board for a long time ago. And then the movie had, as many movies in the independent sector, because this started as an independent movie, you know, had stumble starts and stops, and it fell apart, and then came back again. But we were able to retain these three actors, which were important for us to keep financing on board. But we didn't have an Emmy until the very last minute, and I was not familiar with Hera, I have to admit. And then I saw her work. It was given to me by our casting director, Colin Jones. And I saw it. I thought, oh my God. I could not believe how good she is. And then I met her, and she was still finishing a TV series in Reykjavik, where she's from. She's an Icelandic actress. But we just kind of clicked on that phone call. Like, oh, we have to do this. But she could only come in a single day before we went to photography, so there was no preparation possible beyond our Zoom calls that we tried to kind of squeeze in the last minute. No costume fittings or nothing. So she kind of really was thrown in the deep end. But I knew, and I was so right about it, I knew that she is going to transform this into something else. And it was like that. Everybody fell in love with her. The other three actors just embraced her. And she was something else, man. She was something else.
She was great.
Yeah.
There's a couple of specific scenes that I
Yes.
think people really enjoy.
Absolutely.
Claudio, thank you so much for your time. I really hope everybody actually takes the time to I know it's going to be out also in digital and on demand on December 12th, but also in theaters. Go watch this in
Yeah,
theaters because honestly, those shots that you took from the balloon that are used as your backdrop, that is your scenes really for the entire movie, are going to be so magnificent on the big screen. Go watch Turbulence in theaters. Again,
thank you,
thank you so
Manny.
much. It
That's
was great to meet
fantastic.
you.
Same here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.